of this one. Cathy Engelbert looks like she may be on her way out as WNBA commissioner. I mean, this is bad. This is really, really bad. You have WNBA owners and executives coming out and saying that they believe that Cathy Engelbert should be fired and removed as commissioner of the WNBA.
And it's an interesting one because it seems like the WNBA owners hate Cathy Engelbert as much as the players do and as much as the fans do. It genuinely seems like...
Well, it's finally starting to get ugly behind the scenes. And the one lighting the fire might just be the commissioner herself, Cathy Engelbert. After her controversial comments about Caitlin Clark, even the owners have turned against her. The players can't stand her. The fans boo her. And insiders whisper that she's barely hanging on. So here's the question. Does Cathy Engelbert truly deserve to be replaced, or is she just the easy scapegoat for the league's chaos? Either way, buckle up, because things are getting really messy behind the scenes.
The owners lost faith in Cathy Engelbert. She was obviously booed off. It says once you have that kind of fighting with your best players, one team exec said, it's a death spiral. Tensions brewed throughout the WNBA season as players and coaches expressed frustration with officiating, and as CBA negotiations intensified, but with the conversation shifted especially towards Engelbert during the semi-finals. Obviously, we know about Fee's exit interview and the Caitlin Clark talk, and Cathy Engelbert basically said it wasn't true.
The WNBA commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, is now in full-blown damage control mode. After months of controversies, bad officiating, frustrated players, weak communication, and those now infamous Caitlin Clark comments, the entire league seems to have lost patience with her. And this time, it's not just the players complaining. It's the owners too. According to reports, several team owners privately told ESPN they've lost faith in her leadership. One even admitted, if I had a vote, I'd probably ask for a replacement. That's brutal, especially when it's coming from your own bosses. It all started during the semifinals, when tensions between Engelbert and the players finally exploded. Players were already furious over the officiating, travel issues, and those heated CBA talks, but then the commissioner went and poured gasoline on the fire.
It's a terrible look for the NBA, another owner said. I can't stand what Collier did. That was a private conversation. It makes me not want to fire her, even though I think she should be fired. Yeah, that's a pretty good point. Like, even if Cathy should be fired, the NBA aren't going to fire Cathy Engelbert because it makes them look weak.
Remember that whole controversy from Nafisa Collier's interview? She claimed Cathy Engelbert brushed off Caitlin Clark's concerns about player safety, insisting those viral feud stories weren't real. That didn't sit well with anyone, especially after Caitlin had been targeted on and off the court all season. Fans saw Engelbert's response as tone-deaf. Players saw it as dishonest. And the owners? They saw it as terrible PR. One team executive even said, once you start fighting with your biggest stars, it's a death spiral. And right now, that's exactly where the WNBA finds itself, caught in a full-blown death spiral.
Pretty clear that the players do not trust Cathy Engelbert. And it's actually been clear for a while. And I can tell you that I have had private conversations with players, and both former and present, and many of them have expressed the exact same thing that Nafisa Collier said. And if you notice across social media, from Angel Reese to all different players, they were all doing this. The players and the owners and league leadership are at odds because they feel like so far these CBA negotiations have very much reflected that mentality. I'm pretty sure a deal is not going to get done. Not if Cathy Engelbert is the one leading these negotiations. A deal is absolutely not going to get done because the players have no respect for her. Fee is probably thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, in that this leadership can't continue if it's like this. And so this is her and the players' way of getting Cathy Engelbert.
Engelbert was already on thin ice with the players. They've blamed her for everything from bad officiating and small rosters to the never-ending charter flight drama and weak marketing. But now, she's losing support from the people who actually sign the checks, the owners. And here's where it really gets ugly. The owners believe she's made the league less flexible with her financial decisions. Back in 2022, she helped raise $75 million in capital for the WNBA. Sounds great, right? Except she sold off 16% of the league's ownership to outside investors. That move gave private investors a seat at the table, and now it's coming back to bite everyone. Some owners say it's made everything more complicated, slowing down real progress. One insider even admitted that capital raise handcuffed us more than it helped. It's too messy now. So yeah, the very people who once backed her financially are now calling that decision a mistake. And then there's her attitude problem. Several owners and execs say Engelbert's communication style is, well, condescending. One source literally said she's got a derogatory tone when people question her. Translation? She talks down to everyone.
One of the lasting images of the WNBA season was Engelbert getting relentlessly booed by the crowd at Phoenix's Mortgage Matchup Center during the Aces Championship Trophies presentation. A smaller group of fans continued the ruckus as she walked off the court and into a tunnel. They was booing her, they was flicking her off, all types of stuff. She got absolutely clowned.
Even the owners have had enough. They say that whenever there's a problem with players, teams, or business, Cathy's tone kills the conversation instead of fixing it. One even said flat out, the owners hate her too. And that's not an exaggeration anymore. It's reality. To make it worse, Engelbert reports directly to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who seems to be her only real supporter left. He recently told the media Cathy has presided over some of the strongest growth in WNBA history, which sounds nice on paper. Except everyone inside the league thinks it's out of touch. Because, sure, the WNBA is growing, but that's mostly thanks to stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Aya Wilson pulling new fans in. That growth is happening in spite of Cathy, not because of her. The fans see it. The players feel it. And now, the owners are saying it out loud. One owner admitted she's done some good on the business side, but she's completely lost the locker room. And that's the key. Once you lose the trust of your players and your owners, it's over. But Adam Silver isn't moving an inch. Why? Because firing her now would make the NBA look weak. That's literally what one owner said. If you fire her now, it's admitting weakness. It's a terrible look for the NBA. So yeah, the league doesn't want to admit they made a bad pick. Even if the entire WNBA has turned against her, Silver's pride is what's keeping her in that chair. And that's what has everyone so furious, because deep down, they know she's not being kept for her performance. She's being kept for optics. Just think about how wild that is. The commissioner isn't being protected because she's doing a great job, but because firing her would embarrass someone else. That's where things stand right now. Meanwhile, Cathy's out here telling reporters, "I've never been a quitter." Sounds powerful, until you realize she's saying it to a league that's practically begging her to step down. Now let's talk about the CBA mess, the real reason everyone's losing sleep. The current collective bargaining agreement expires this month, meaning a new deal is supposed to be signed before October 31st. Spoiler alert, that's not happening. Multiple insiders say the chances of wrapping it up by Halloween are literally zero. They're nowhere close. And the issue isn't just money, it's trust. Players don't believe Engelbert will negotiate in good faith. Owners don't believe she can lead without sparking another PR disaster. One exec even admitted, "I don't know if this relationship is reparable." That's how deep the resentment goes. The CBA talks are supposed to cover player safety, travel, revenue sharing, and salaries, but the two sides are miles apart. Players like Chelsea Gray and Brianna Turner have already said the current offers aren't even close to what they expected. They're asking for higher pay, a bigger share of revenue, guaranteed housing, and more charter flights, all reasonable requests. But Cathy and the owners can't even agree on what reasonable means. Half the owners want to invest more. The other half want to tighten the budget. And Cathy, she's stuck in the middle, and handling it terribly. Things have gotten so bad that one owner even joked, "At this rate, we'll get the CBA done right after pigs fly over Madison Square Garden." No one trusts anyone, and everyone's pointing fingers at Cathy. Even the referee situation has become part of her long list of failures. Fans and players have complained about officiating all season, missed calls, random technicals, obvious bias, you name it. But the WNBA refuses to hold refs accountable, saying they only evaluate overall performance. Translation: no consequences. And who approved that system? Cathy Engelbert. So when the same referee crews that blew one game show up again 2 nights later in the playoffs, guess who gets blamed? Yep, Cathy. The sad part is the WNBA keeps pretending like all of this is just business as usual. But insiders are saying it outright. The league is crumbling behind the scenes. And now that even the owners are calling for her head, it feels like only a matter of time before the NBA steps in. But here's the twist: they might not fire her right away. They'll probably wait until the new CBA is finalized, just so it doesn't look like a move made out of panic. Because once again, Adam Silver refuses to look weak. So instead of fixing the problem, they're pretending everything's fine. But everyone can see it's not. The players are furious. The owners are frustrated. The fans are fed up. And the commissioner? She's completely disconnected from all of them. And this is where it all spirals into a full-blown crisis, because behind closed doors, WNBA owners are finally admitting what fans have been shouting for months. Cathy Engelbert is losing control of the league. She's lost the players. She's lost the owners. And the only person still defending her is Adam Silver, the same guy who seems more worried about appearances than fixing the real problems. Reports say multiple owners have called her leadership exhausting, condescending, and tone-deaf. One even said the league feels like it's running on autopilot. And honestly, that's not far from the truth. Under Engelbert, the WNBA has turned into a masterclass in missed opportunities. Caitlin Clark shattered every viewership record. Millions of fans packed arenas, national buzz, and instead of celebrating, the league acted like it was a burden. Then came Cathy's biggest mistake: those comments about Caitlin's treatment and the so-called myths around her struggles. She basically told fans and players, nothing to see here. But everyone was seeing it. The hard fouls, the biased officiating, the silence from the league every time Caitlin got hit. So when Cathy brushed it all off as untrue, it didn't just sound bad. It exposed how disconnected she really is. That's when everything boiled over. Players rolled their eyes, fans booed her in arenas, and owners started quietly wondering if she could even survive another season. According to ESPN's report, one executive put it perfectly: once you've alienated your biggest stars, there's no coming back. And it's true. When your top players stop trusting your leadership, every CBA meeting, every discussion, every future plan turns into chaos. Let's not forget, this is the same commissioner who defended the league's officiating while players were out there calling it embarrassing. She even doubled down, claiming referees were being unfairly criticized. Really? When fans literally have highlight reels of bad calls, no one's buying that anymore. It's gotten so bad that even some owners now call her leadership unsalvageable. They admit she's great with business numbers, but terrible with people. And that's the real divide. Cathy sees the WNBA like a spreadsheet. The players and owners see it like a community. And she's failing to connect with both. One league source summed it up perfectly: she talks numbers, we talk people. That one line says it all. Because while she's busy flashing PowerPoint slides about growth, her biggest stars are giving exit interviews saying they don't feel supported. You can't call that growth. You call that dysfunction. And now, with the CBA deadline closing in, the tension is absolutely unbearable. Players want better pay, safer travel, and stronger protection. Owners want better revenue sharing. and a lot less drama. Cathy's trying to please both sides, but in the process, she's failing them both. And honestly, this is the worst possible time for a leadership meltdown. The new CBA will shape the next decade of the WNBA. If she blows this, or if the talks completely fall apart, the league could face a work stoppage, meaning no games, no paychecks, no progress. And it's not like the last CBA was smooth either. That deal was signed back in 2020 when Caitlin Clark was still in high school. Since then, everything's changed. Social media, nil deals, record-breaking viewership. The league is bigger than ever. But the leadership? Still small-minded. And that's what's really fueling this frustration among owners. They're watching a golden opportunity slip away, while their commissioner can't seem to get out of her own way. One insider nailed it, saying, if the WNBA had handled the Caitlin Clark phenomenon better, we'd be printing money by now. And they're right. Instead of embracing the biggest sports star in America, they treated her like a problem, when she could have been the face of marketing, merchandise, and even global expansion. Instead, they completely wasted the moment, all because the commissioner cared more about controlling the message than embracing the momentum. This isn't just bad management, it's pure pride. And now, that pride is catching up to her. Owners are quietly holding meetings. Executives are venting their frustration to reporters. Even sponsors are starting to ask tough questions. Because when everyone inside your league hates the leadership, how long before that starts hurting business? The cracks are already showing. Playoff ratings dipped after the Caitlin controversy. Player interviews are getting more tense. And the same media that once hyped the growth era are now openly wondering if this league's leadership can even survive another year. One insider put it perfectly. It's not about basketball anymore. It's about power, ego, and who gets the last word. And unfortunately for Cathy, that last word might not be hers. Because now, the NBA is watching closely. Adam Silver has always defended her publicly, but insiders say even he's starting to feel the pressure. He knows if this chaos spills into 2025, it's going to land on his shoulders too. But firing her now would make the NBA look weak, like they're caving to the noise. So instead, they're stuck in this strange, awkward middle ground. Defend her publicly, complain privately, and hope the drama dies down. Spoiler alert, it won't. The players are furious, the owners are restless, and the fans? They've had enough of the silence. Every time Cathy opens her mouth, she loses more support. She says the refs are fine. Fans roll their eyes. She says Caitlin Clark isn't being targeted. Fans start trending clips of her getting knocked to the floor. She says the league is growing, but all anyone sees is chaos. The truth is, this isn't sustainable. You can't run a league where the commissioner is the least liked person in the room. And that's exactly where things stand. Even players who usually stay out of the drama are starting to speak up. Veterans, rookies, coaches, everyone's frustrated. Some are even calling for a full reset. One executive said it best: the league can't move forward until Cathy moves out. And that might be exactly where this is heading. So, what do you think? Has Cathy Engelbert's time as commissioner finally run out? Should the WNBA replace her? Or is she being unfairly blamed for deeper league problems? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because this story is far from over, and the next chapter could be explosive.